Hey, welcome back. Let's get started with today's session. Today's session mostly focus on operators, and also we'll touch up with conditional statements or control statements. Let's get started. Today's session is on operators. All right. So, like, we need to understand what are the operators, right? So, I'll give you a list of operators. So, arithmetic. This many of us already know. Plus, minus, percentile, division, multiplication, floor division, and exponent operator. Okay, and next assignment operator equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to, modulus, division equal to, right? Next, comparison operator. When it comes to comparison operator, grade, like greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, not equal to, right? This one. And next one is equality check operator, equality operators, or comparison itself. We can have it there. Double equal to, yeah. Mm, double equal to, not equal to, yeah, this is fine. And yeah, what is the other one? Like and operator and or operator. So naming convention, I'm pretty not sure, but yeah, equal and an or operator, that's fine. But anyway, theoretically we will, this is like theoretical, and let's do it in practical way. So when it comes to arithmetic operators, like one second. So in the real-time programming, we use almost everything, except this assignment operator. We don't. I never, had a chance to work with. Not chance to work with. It's like we don't use this kind of operators. Okay, but generally, assignment operator is equal to, plus equal to. We do actually for some. And when it comes to comparison operators, we use these comparison operators a lot, and even this one and an OR operator. Okay, let me give an examples. So when it comes to arithmetic operators, we will do everything in one go. So and also so far what we have done is we were just defining the values directly, right? For example, number 1 equal to 10. But if you want to perform any addition, so generally if you define like this, you will be always performing data like a performing addition between only these two, right? But you had interest of taking data from the keyboard, like you will manually enter number 1 value and number 2 value. Okay, so for example these two are different, and number 3, for example number 3 equal to, let's say, now there is a function called input function. Okay, we need to understand the syntax first. Input function. So what this input function will do is, like whatever you are assigning, like this would take the input from the keyboard. Okay, so there are two things you can directly do. So if you use this, it would not give any prompt message on the terminal actually. So when you visit nearest ATM, for example, so what you do, so you will say like, please insert your card. That is a prompt message, okay? And please enter your PIN, for example. So that's a prompt message on the display message on the screen, right? So if you don't use any message here, so meaning the screen will be empty. So that's where you need to put some prompt message, display message here, okay? So for example, please enter value for number 3, for example, okay? Put colon, something like this, so that when you're watching on the screen, it will be so neat. See here. Now I'll copy this statement, paste it here, okay? Now we will see the output screen also, no problem. See, first of all, here you print number one is, for example, number one, and number two is number two, okay? And when you're doing this, right, you can also print or use the same statement, right, to print number three as well. And number three is the placeholder. You should put the variable name, whatever value you want to print on that placeholder. All right. See here. All right. So what we are doing is we are taking number one value. Number one is static, which means like it is already defined, like previous old value. And number two also defined no, statically by the user. And number three, we are taking it dynamically from the keyboard. Okay, let's do it. If I start saving this file and execute, let me close this off for better readability. Right. What did you notice? See, the program has been executed, right? If you look at this particular program, it is, see, it executed from, always the program execution start from the top actually. Okay, it comes here. It is a single line comment, space skipped, multi-line comment. This will be skipped. This I have given for your understandability. And here we have defined three variables: number one, number two, and number three, right? But number one, number two is already static values, and whereas number three we are taking dynamically, correct? So here, so it is waiting here. If you see this, the prompt is waiting for your input. So let's say if I put message, let's say for example 40, meaning I'm entering value 40. Okay, what did you notice? So it is displaying whatever the value I entered in the previous step here, right? So like what did you understood? So input function is used to take the input from the keyboard. Okay, and so there is, so previously we had a input and raw input functions. So there are two different functions which is used to take the input from the keyboard. But currently we have only one input function. Okay, meaning they have removed, like, why to have two input functions? Instead, we will have only one input function to maintain, like for a good maintainability. But whatever the data, if it is entered by the user, right? That data by default it converts it into a string actually. So how you can check it? So for example, you can check here, user entered, is number three, and yep, uh, for you alone or how about others? Right. Uh, like rejoin. Mhm. We'll wait for him. You're able to see? Great. Because if I switch the screens, right, so for me it's easy to edit actually. That's where. All right. User entered value is, for example, I'm printing that value here, and type of the value is number 3. But yesterday you understood, right? Like if you want to print a type, we should use a type function. Okay. Now you will understand. So when if I trigger this out, right, it is waiting for user input. Correct. Let's say if I put 35 now, and what did you notice? User entered is 35, and type of the values. What did you see? You see string, but actually 35 is not a string, right? So that's where. So what Python people has done, they have removed two input functions. See, one input function is whatever we take, whatever we give, it will take that same type. But try input function does convert anything to whatever the value is entered by the user from the keyboard. By default, it converts to a string. Okay, so how to convert a string? We have a string function, right? We know like str function would be used to convert any value to string type. So here, and now I don't want to, for example, this time, right? So let me help you to crash the program. Okay, so here, crash the program. Okay, what I'll be doing is I'll be doing addition now. Okay, addition of. So I'm printing 10, 10 comma 20 comma 30 is, for example, right? So addition of here 10, 10 comma 20. 20 is number 2, and number 3 is put colon, and in the placeholder, like the writing a beautiful message on the screen in the logs, very important. Because by looking at this is, we can easily, if you're good at writing a proper logs, neat logs, right? Your problem is almost solved, when it comes to production issues. uh, it is just that, hey, okay, so you are doing something wrong in this statement, right? By looking at statement itself, you can comment that, hey, you are doing something wrong in this. Okay, number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3. Did you see this? See what I'm doing now? I'm crashing the program. Like how this program will crash? But it's very simple. So what is the type of the number 1? Integer. Number 2? Integer. And as mentioned, whatever the value entered to this function, input function, by default, what it would be? By default, it would be what? String, right? So meaning you are doing integer plus string, right? So you cannot do that. So if I go ahead and like crash the program, for number 3, I am giving, for example, 30, and see, your program got crashed. It is printed. This line it printed. It is not happy. It is happy with this statement and other statement, like print statements. But when it reaches this line, right, it's not happy. And one of the other beauty in Python is, one of the beauty of Python, right? So it would execute the programs until program crash. But whereas in other programming languages like C, Java, and all, right? So like even the entire program, maybe like line number 1,000, we had a small issue, for example, right? So what Java does, or what C programming, right? Like the compiling, right? It is compiling and running. Okay, compiling and execution, right? But whereas in Python, compile and execute both happens on the same time, whereas in Java, C, and other languages, right? So compile time is separate, meaning first it compiles the program, okay, and then it will execute. Whereas in Python, no. In Python, compile time and execution time both happens on the same time. Okay, that's where it is executing. Oh, okay, it is executing this line, let's say from here till here, like it compile this line and executes, compile this line and executes. You got it? So compile and execution happen same time. That's where it is not detecting this issue. You got it? So like even in interview they will ask, hey, how Python executes? Like what is the compile time and runtime? So the answer is compile time and runtime happens on the same time for each line execution. Okay, that's where Python execution become bit slower. Okay, comparatively other languages. Okay, yeah. And how to fix this? So this crash the program, right? Let me take out the crash stuff just for your reference. Now, how to fix this issue? To fix this, we need to convert this what the value we entered. We have to convert this back to uh, integer value. Correct? Yeah. See, it is saying a type error, unsupported operand type. Plus between integer and a string. Okay. Since number three is integer, that's where it's not happy to execute that particular statement. All right. And now if I go back here, in order to make it correct the program, correct the logic. So how this can be corrected? Here number three, right? You have to convert. See, you can convert here. You can convert here. If you execute this, and this time you have to comment this out. Okay. If I execute this program now, this time I entered, for example, 30. Did you see it? Though you have entered a string value, it is printed as string. But since we have converted, right? See, number one, number two, number three is it printed its values, and addition of 10, 20, and 30 is 60. Got it? But here, so what is the best way? So if you ask me, hey Kumar, you are doing this, but what's the best way? Right? The best way for this program is, if you want to do any such kind of conversion. So when it comes to integer conversions, right? So the conversion would happen. See, if you want to use if you want, again, like currently what you have performed is you have performed number one plus number two plus number three, correct? But what if you want to do a number one plus number three, for example, right? So again, what you have to do, addition of number one, comma, and number two is, right? So again, you will be doing number one plus integer of number three. Got it? But so what is the problem here? So I see there is a problem. Why? Because see, whenever you use function, which means that some logic is executing in the background. See here, you are doing like your this is a function, right? So when it comes to function, each function has some logic to be executed, right? Which means like it consumes some time. If you look at this program, so you are taking this value, right? In this statement you are capturing the data from the keyboard. But what's the problem here? You are taking it and you store into number three variable. And when it comes to the execution, let's say the first conversion for integer to sorry, string to integer is, let's say, 5 seconds, right? You are taking 5 seconds here for conversion. Also, you are taking 5 more seconds for this one, right? Example, let me put an example here. But ideally, it will not take 5 seconds. I'm just giving a heads up that it takes some seconds. Into example, assume integer function takes, let's say, 1 second for converting to con- uh, 1 second for converting value to integer, for example. So in this case, what happens? See, imagine if the program execution is happening, let's say first what we can say, let's say 5 seconds, for example. So in that 5 seconds, you are taking 1 second for this conversion, 1 second for this one, which means that you can this can be, see, when it comes to application, right? Application should be super fast, right? Well, when you're opening WhatsApp, Facebook, or any applications, so as soon as you open, it should be open, right? Otherwise user will not be shown interest towards that application, right? So in order to do this, so as mentioned this, right? So here you're doing conversion. This can be done in a one place. Okay, so where it is anyway you are taking the value here, correct? Doing this, while taking the input itself, do convert and store into number three. Okay, how this can be used, since you already aware, so integer function, right? See, put this data, put this statement inside this integer. Okay, got it? Now what happens? So very fast input also function. Okay, input is function, int also function. But you had a question that, hey Kumar, you have used two functions, but what function executes very fast? The inner function executes very fast, first time. So if you look at this, what this is the inner function. Okay, it executes, meaning it takes input from the keyboard. For example, if I enter 30, right? It takes 30, for example, and convert them back to integer. You got it? And this, uh, imagine as soon as whatever user entered, right? So the entered input is in string format this way, and you are converting this string of digits to an integer value. You got it? This style. Okay, let me execute, and if I execute this program also, you'll understand this. Okay, this time I will not I'm not entering anything, but just converting integer value to integer, like converting to integer from a string value. Okay, this time executes without any issues. Did you see it? Number three is this, and if you see the number three integer, number three value, user entered, like, anyway, this is like wrong message, anyway, that's fine. But here when it comes to this, the class type is integer, so previously it is string. Did you get it, like how this conversion is happening? Naveen, did you get it, Naveen? Right, right. Now if now this is a conversion since taken place here already, so now you can wipe out this, you can wipe out this statement, you can wipe out. So since you already convert, since number three is already converted here in this statement, right? So you can directly use now whenever you want to do a arithmetic operation. So conversion is not required. Okay. If, now if you put, let's say, 100, get it? Yeah, right. So this is all about arithmetic operators, operator plus, and I think you must aware about all other operators until here. See, star for multiplication. So when you want to multiply numbers, let's say if you want to do a number one plus number two, for example, sorry, number one into number two, you can use star operator, star for multiplication. So try out all other operators for your handout. And if you see this, floor division and double star, so I'll explain this. All right. And the next one is floor division. So when we use floor division, for example, let's say you had 10 and you had let's say 3, for example. If you just print division of, oh, not 10. Yeah, right. Division of A and B, which is division of 10 and 3 is here. What you will be doing? A division by B, for example. Okay, so I'm just doing a division operator. If I execute this program, see, did you see it? So division of 10 and 3 is 3.3.333. Like after this decimal point, you have so many digits, right? But when it comes to real time, sometimes you don't want to care about what is the decimal point data. Okay, so this is the actual stuff. To overcome this problem, so I don't want to consider any decimal data. That's where the floor division comes to picture. Okay, now if I do a same thing, this is with the division. If I use the floor division, I'm just changing this one division to add one more division here. So what it does is floor division. Floor division of A and B is, if I execute this now, we'll come to know the output. Did you see it? What is the problem? See, what it does is it simply removed all the decimal points. Okay, so this is what floor division does. Got it? So floor division means remove the decimal points. Got it? And next one is double star. So double star is a exponent operator. Double star is exponent operator. Okay, so like how like what do, let's say for example you want to do a 10 square or 10 cube, right, or 10 power 10 for example. So example, 10 square, right, 10 power 2 for example. So what is 10 power 2, which is 10 into 10, correct, which is 100. And if you want to do a 10 cube or 10 power 4, whatever the stuff, right, what you will be using, you will be using a double star. So double star means power operator. Okay, so if you want to do the same example which I have just shown of 10 square, right, let's say uh, power of, let's say first value is 10 for example. You can directly write value also instead of storing into some variable, right? Power of 10. So when you are when you're having direct value, not necessary to keep this brackets, but your practice you can keep it. Power of 10 and 2, and 2 is, so we use this square brackets when you want to um, when you want to placeholder some variable. Okay, but for value directly you can directly keep like this. A power of 10 and 2 is, so how this can be executed? Power of 10 and 2 is, see, 10 double star 2. Okay, got it. So don't decorate with like a triple star, 5 stars. Only the legal Python allows only double star. All right. If I execute this now, let me take out all the other things. Yeah. Did you see it? So power of 10 and 2 is 100, right? And you can also, as I mentioned, you can also take from the user, right? You understood how to take data from the user. So my recommendation would be for you, when you are doing this kind of arithmetic operations, please take the every time take the data from the keyboard. convert them that no, when you're doing this, when you're taking it in the same time, please convert that to integer value. That is recommended. Okay. And there is a power operator. Now that we are almost done with arithmetic operators, since you already know all the arithmetic operators, so I don't want to teach you what is the division, what is percentile and other stuff. So I think you know better, right? Yeah. So there is like exponent operator. Oh, one second. Let me give one more example. So if you want to try other examples, let's say 10 power 10, meaning multiplying 10 by 10 times. Like why 10 always? Let's say uh, 6, for example. 6 cube, for example. Let's say um, if you want to do a 6 cube, 6 into 6 into 6, right? So 6 double star 3. So whatever the value, what is the base value, you should keep first, and the power value you should keep next. Okay, that's a way, that's a legal way. You got it? 6 into 6 into 6. Yeah. So this is how we can use exponent operator to perform any power operations. All right. Next one is assignment operators. So assignment operator we already know. So because as soon as you write number 1 equal to, right, which means you already using assignment operator without knowing that it's assignment operator. Okay. Enter number 1, for example. So same way, if you want to do a, like, let me quickly do number 1, enter number 2, right? And when you're doing this operation, number 1 and number 2, so you should be doing, let's say, in one go, if you want to do, since you didn't perform the conversion to integer, please do so here. Okay, integer of. If you don't know how, like from where this bracket starts and where this bracket ends, right? Simple, just type integer function. You're doing this, and whatever the statement that you had here, cut paste into this, and now you can, since you are doing it from very first time, so it makes you bit confuses you, but this logic works great actually. Got it? Right. So here number, see, when it comes to number, right, number 1 and number 2, we are taking the values and we are doing, let me do all arithmetic operations here. For example, arithmetic, yeah, we will be performing assignment operations, yeah, here. um, right. So for example, number 1 is number 1, and number 2 is got it. So see, number 1 is 1 and number 2 is 2, right? And when it comes to assignment operator, equality is fine. Like you are just whatever the right side value will be assigned to the variable which is defined on the left side. Whatever the value we are entering, that value assigned to left side variable. Correct? Fine. And when it comes to the other way, like when it comes to the plus equal to minus equal, right? So this is bit tricky, but it's very easy. I'll tell you. So here, if you do number 1, for example, plus equal to, right? Let's say 2, for example, or 3, right? So when you use this kind of operation, right, plus equal to, it's very easy. See, number 1 plus equal to 3 means what it really, what it does in the background, right? Number 1 equal to number 1. So whatever the variable, plus, number number 1 plus what is the value you are adding up? 3. You got it? And see, in this case, for example, you entered number 1 is let's say uh, 10, for example, and you entered number 2 is 20, for example, right? In this case, it will print number 1 is 10 and number 2 is 20, right? Got it? And when you do this, number 1 plus equal to 3, which means that number 1 equal to number 1 plus number 3, right? So here, what is number 1? Number 1 is 10. 10 plus, which is 10 plus 3. So what is the value? Which which is 13. You got it? So this is how augmented assignment happen. It is very simple that number 1 plus equal to 3 means number 1 equal to number 1 plus what is the value here. Got it? So if I do, so because number 1 is updated, right? After number 1 updation, number 1 is, right? So how this can be executed? Number 1 is, he will be printing just here, number 1. You got it? So let me execute the same one now and see how this can be changed, right? So let me wipe it out. Okay. So here, what is the number 1? We assigned, I just mentioned number 1 is 10. Number 2 is 20. Got it? Number 1 is 10, number 2 is 20. After number 1 updation, number 1 is 13 now. Did you understood how number 1 become 13? Because number 1 plus equal to 13. Number 1 plus equal to 3, which means that number equal to number 1 plus 3, right? And which is 10 plus 3, 13. Okay. Same way, let's say if you do updation of number 2 now, for example, number 2. So let's try this, minus equal to, for example, number 2 is 20, right? See here, we will be giving 20 in this example. Let's say I want to make it number 2 minus equal to 5. So what actually it will be, or I'll just write down, okay. Number 2 equal to number 2 minus 5. You got it? And this becomes number 2 is 20. 20 minus 5. 20 minus 5, which is 15. Did you get it? After number 2 updation, number 2 is here. See, I'll be giving same value to give a good context here. So 10, 30. Got it? Did you see it? Oh, okay. So number 2. Oh, what did I? Oh, I entered 30. Okay, so let me quickly wipe it out and so where is line number? It's not happy with line number 10. Where is line number 10? So this is somewhere it's not happy with line number 10. Okay. I don't know, some execution issue. That's fine. So number 1 is, let's say, 10. Number 2, 20. Did you see it? So after updation, number 1 become 13. Number 2 become 15. And if you print, see, that's where, see, when you're doing this stage, like initially number 1 value is 10, number 2 is 20, right? And only that, see, the value will be 10 and 20 only on this stage. But as soon as it reaches this stage, the value got updated, right? Even after this, let's say here you updated number 1, and in this line you updated number 2. After this, if you try to access, let's say if you try to sum it, right? So that will become a, so this is a cautious action. So when you're doing is now addition of number 1. Addition of, what is the number 1? I'll put a placeholder because I want to print the value. Addition of number 1 and number 2 is number 1 plus number 2. Got it? So what exactly happened here? So here in the first placeholder, it taken the number 1 value, number 2 value. But what is addition now? See, 13 plus. Why 13 here? So you might be thinking that hey, number 1 is 10, number 2 is 20. So your original thinking the value is 30. But you are wrong because see the value got modified. If the value is not modified, then you will get the same value, right? But for number 1 it got modified, number 2 it got modified. Okay, that's where you are getting some new data now. So if I go and trigger this execution, I will use the same values for your reference. So number 1 is 10, number 2 is 20. Got it? What did you see it? Number 1 is 10, number 2 is 20, number 2 is 20. After number 1 updation, 13, 15. But this is the cautious thing, addition of 13 and 15 is 28. But you might be thinking number 1 is 10, addition of 10 and 20 is 30, right? But no, since it is already updated, it is always, when it comes to programming, right, it always have the updated value. So whatever the updated value, it must has. Okay. Or like let number 1 and number 2 is updated. Okay, that's for your reference. Did you got it? Like, do you understood like how this is getting updated? Any handout is do it for, yeah, do it everything. Yeah. Okay, let me take this. Okay, all right. And to give this context, let's say comparison operator, right? So when it comes to comparison operator, it returns a Boolean value. So it compares between it compares between the values, right? So we used to say this is like operator, and like whatever the comparison stuff, right? We used to say like operands. Okay. For example, greater than is a operator. And so when it comes to let's say 10 greater than 20. Okay, for example, let me give a context. See, 10 greater than 20. So what does really mean? So 10 greater than 20 is true or false. So which is false, right? Correct. So here we used to say greater than is operator. You are performing greater than operator on two operands. So 10 and 20. Got it? Which is false. And if you use same 10 less than 20, for example, right? So this is true. You got it? Why it is true? Why it is false? Because I don't want to teach mathematics again. Because 10 is smaller value than 20. That's where it is true. And in this case, 10 is like we are performing greater than operation, and it is like the expression is assuming that 10 is greater than 20, but which is incorrect. That's where you got false value, false as a boolean. Got it? So let's execute every comparison operator in one go. All right, and I need also one more value. For example, I would consider number 3. Okay, number 3 is copy out everything. And for your reference, I'm keeping this value open. Got it? So imagine it is 30, for example. Also have one more value, which is something equal to, let's say, number 2 or number 3. That's okay. Number 4, number 4. Let's say this is 20 or 30, for example, or 10. Okay. So this is for you, for example. That's it. Number 1, number 2, number 3 is, and so this is for good readability. Number 4, number 4 is okay. Got it? Yeah. So now that we had values, so if I execute this program, it will just print, uh, number 1 is 10, number 2 is 20, number 3 is 30, number 4 is 10, right? Okay. Now let's perform this operator. Let's say greater than operator on all the stuff. Okay, and print what it prints. It's easy. Let's perform greater than operation on every operand that we have here. Okay, say so. For example, 10 greater than 20, for example, right? See how this can be used. Placeholder. 10 is stored in variable number 1, so that's where number 1 greater than number 2. Okay, and actually it is not, see, when you export this, right, it will just print this way. It prints 10 greater than 20, just like a display message, guys. But originally we are not doing it here, right? So what I want to have a meaningful message, right? 10 greater than 20 is like here only you should see, you should say is, then only in this placeholder we are performing the comparison. Okay, so here number 1 greater than number 2. So this is the core logic. Okay, and this is just for a message or print statement. Got it? Yeah. So if I execute this now, you'll come to know 10, 20, 30, and number 4 is 10. But when you're doing it, please try out different values. But for example, I have given this. Okay, which is 10, 10 see 10 greater than 20 is, which is false, right? See, this is just a display message until here, and actual business logic or actual logic happens here. Number 1 greater than number 2, which is 10 greater than 20, which is false. Got it? Yeah. So the same way, if you want to try out, if you want to try out greater than, see, this is a greater than. Try out all greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, not equal to, double equal to, right? Can you do it? It's easy, right? So let me give you quick examples here. In the same example, what I do is less than equal, number 1 less than number 2. Okay, so this you already know how this executes. So this executes 10 less than 20, which is true. Got it? Like way 10 greater than equal to 20, for example. So this is a bit tricky. So when it comes to this, see, it is, we are doing this 10 greater than equal to 20. No, this is false, right? And less than equal to, this is less than equal to, okay? Yeah, this is true. Got it? So here to perform this, okay, and this should be performed. This is less than equal to. Got it? Yeah. If we execute this now, you will see this is easy. Uh, Once again, let me wipe it out and open a fresh output terminal. See, number one is what? 10, 20, 30, and 10. Did you see it? False. If you look at the logic, right? False, true, false, true. But since you already know, like, which value is bigger, which one is smaller, please calculate it. Okay. And the remaining things, please do it, guys. Okay. So when you want to do a like not equal to, which means that uh, see, 10 not equal to 20, true or false? Which is true, correct? But 10 not equal to 10, which is false, right? Let me give an example. Not equal to. So it kind of confuses for the people. So say I want to do a one negative case. So first one is, let's say, number one, and this display message, print message, number one not equal to number two is, I would say here, number one, right, not equal to number two. You got it? What I mean? So which is true? How this is true? So you're doing 10 not equal to 20, which is correct. No, because 10 is not equal to 20 only, right? 10 is smaller number, 20 is the other number, correct? Got it? And so not equal to is fine. For example, in the same example, if you want to try with the other one, which is 10, number one is 10 and number four is 10, right? So number one not equal to number four, for example. This case, what you're doing? You're doing 10 not equal to 10. So because both 10 and both side 10 and 10, right? Which is equal generally, right? That's where it is false. Got it? What I mean? Molly, did you understood? Because these are all conditions, guys. These are all conditions. Okay, very important. When it comes to programming, we need to understand about how the conditions are got turn out. Okay, because based on certain condition only we are triggering some business operation, right? For example, let's say if Molly is present in some, let's say, policy group or email group, then only we are allowing him to do certain actions, right? So that's where in programming we will check if the person if the person has some role, for example, then only you are allowing him to do any other further action. Otherwise, you are restricting him. Got it? So this is like you'll be having questions. Hey, Kumar, you are saying this, but how this got linked to the other one? Anyway, I'll have an example to demonstrate that. All right. So that's plus equal to and double equal to. So double equal to meaning both side. If the both the operands are same value, then only it will become true. Otherwise, false. So let's have a quick example on that as well. So print, let's say, uh, for example, number one, right? Number one double equal to number two. So just add a print statement, 10 double equal 20. It is just for a display, guys, print statement only to print on the screen actually, right? But actual logic happens here. Don't get confused with this. Okay, that's where I seen people that you what you do is after this you put comma and you had a placeholder. This is also fine, but this is not a way to do it. This programmatically this is still correct. Okay, but when it comes to the community people, we used to decide. Many people don't put command. Mention the placeholder there. No, we don't do it. Number one double equal to number two. You got it? This is what you are doing something wrong here. So number one is 10 double equal to 20, which is incorrect, right? So this turned out to be false. Got it? And let's say number one and number four this time, because number one and number four both are same. So I given one negative case and one positive case, right? This time 10 double equal to 10, right? This is true. Got it? Number one. Oh, okay. I'll give the same values. Anyway, this exclusion is not required because you are already understood that. Let me quickly do it. Did you see it? See, 10 not equal. Yeah, you'll see all the output on the screen, right? Yeah. Any questions in actually? So it is like a membership checking. Okay. So in and in, not in operator. All right, no problem. So this is about comparison operators, right? Um, I'll put heading here. I'm doing it in one shot for your notes actually. When you refer them, it will be neat. All right. Next. Next is membership checking. Before membership, I think we will kick this out to last, right? Hmm. So next one is logical operators. We used to say, yeah, correct. The name is logical operators. Okay. So logical operators and an or we have. So when it comes to and or, so in your 10th class, right? You must have gone through and gate, right? And gate, or gate, um, negation, like right. So like a and table, for example. Let me quickly show you, like yeah, correct, correct. So if you go here, right, like let's say and table. Okay, let me quickly open this up. um yeah, here, for example, look at this, right? And to the table, let's say 1 1, meaning, see, imagine this condition both. Let's say if condition is true, both are true, then only it become true, right? Remaining all case 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1. You got it? Meaning, if the both side, when it comes to and, if every condition is true, then only the condition becomes true. Got it? But when it comes to or gate, right? Or table, any condition is true, then it becomes true. If you see it, like false, right? False. And any one is true, the result will be true. Did you see it? Yeah. So based on this logic, let's quickly understand this and or operators. Okay, cool. Yeah, here. So when we use and or is when you want to check multiple conditions. So so far what we have done is we have just checked one condition. Let's say you are checking a number one double equal to number four. Then only you are performing this operation, right? correct? So when it comes to and an or operator, oh sorry, and more, right? So here, let's say print. I'll just print, that's it, 10 greater than 2, right? And let's say, let me give some positive insight first. 5 less than 20. Got it? So what it is doing? It is doing, see, 10 greater than 2, which is true, correct? And 5 greater than 10, sorry, 5 less than 10, which is true again. So when it comes to AND gate, what it says, if both of them are true, then only true, correct? This talks, AND gate, like AND table talks about if both the sides, both the conditions are true, then only the result will be true. Okay, if I execute this expression will be converted, expression will be executed. First check the very first expression, get the data, which is false, which is true, and again 5 less than 10, which is true again, right? The result will be true. Okay, when I do the same example, let's say this time 5 greater than 10, right? Making that, you are saying that, hey, 5 is greater than 10, which is false, right? So here true one, false, which is false. Got it? If I execute this, so when we will use and is like when you are performing multiple conditional checks, right? Then only we do this. Okay, even if you want to perform one more, you can still, it is allowed. And let's say uh, 2 greater than, let's say 0. This is true again, right? So why to mess up here? One second. I don't want to mess up there. If you want to check one more condition, like it will be used for like logical and logical or, right? So it will be used mostly for checking multiple conditions. And 2 greater than 0, right? So here again, and you got it. If I execute this now, see, true, false, true. Did you understood? Like how, see, I'm talking about this like translation. See, this is a print statement. In the background, how it works is, first it translates this value, right? True and true. It translates second value, true and true is true. And here true and false, which is false. Got it? And last statement, true and true and true, which is true. If you want to make it one more false here, for example, let's say here, right? So true and false. So what end table will talk? So if anything is false by default, even though remaining are true, for example, you don't care. It become false. Sounds good? Got it? So this is how we used to understand AND table. And OR table, it's very simple, right? So when you use this OR table, if all conditions are fail, let's say instead of AND, I'll put OR here. Conditions, right? Guys, these are very, very important things to understand, okay? So, okay, cool. So OR table means any one true is true, correct? So here, the first time true or true, false, true or true, true, true or false. true. Anyone is true, true only, no? So here true, and here true or false, which is true. You got it? If you want to have some meaningful, way, right? You can print them, print them up, right? So if I execute this, did you get it? Got it? So you understood about and or operator, right? Hmm? One place we have both, right? So let me wipe this out. Next is membership checking operators. So membership checking, it's very simple. Um, this is one of the very important operators, like we use a lot. So imagine we had a list, let's say number list equal to list of 6. Okay. Also, um, okay, this is fine. Let me have mixer list, or num list not required. Mixer list is, let's say it is having some integers, some float numbers, that can be any value. Okay. And it also has list of 2 comma 3, also has tuple of 1 comma 2 comma 3, for example, right? Also it has some string, also it has some yeah, I think this is fine. Okay. So now membership checking operator, which means that we will check whether okay, let me quickly show you some example. Let's say 10 in mixer list. So what I'm doing here, let me give an explanation. So 10 in mixer list. So what is this mixer list? This is a variable. What value it has? It has this value, correct? Take it on. And 10 in this list, right? So what really happens, right, when it comes to this 10 in mixer list? So this becomes true because 10 is available. 10 is available in this list, right? True. That's why true. For example, in the same example, let's say 3, 3 in this list, right? But originally, see, 3 is available, but 3 is not directly available in this list, right? It is available in the sub list. Got it? What I mean? So here available, but originally when you're checking 3, it exactly directly checks with 3. It checks with 3, 3, no, 3, no, 3, no. You got it? It become false. You got it? Why it become false? Because, did you got it? Why it is false? The reason is very simple. So you are checking integer 3, correct? But here 3 is available, but it is there in the list of 3. You got it? So this is like integer, and here this is list. That's where the comparison, it takes the comparison. So integer of 3 equal to like it exactly checks here integer 10. So integer 10 is available, but here 3 integer 3 is not available. So this integer 10, but this list, it is no more it will no more compare. That's why it is false. Did you get it? or no? Right? No, but as a human tendency, right? So we think that, hey, three, right? Come on, three. It's available here. True. But personally, it will not work like that. Okay. So let me quickly, you know, say here. So this is 10, right? 10 directly we can, yeah, you can say, or I can directly use this. Yeah, that's okay. Since you already understood, directly take this. I can directly print like this. Okay. Instead of this, I'll put 3. That's okay. So first one is true and second is false. Yeah, I don't want to write it anyway. It is available above. Did you get it? The first got true because 10 is available. Second is false. Okay. The same way, for example, if I use not in means ulta, not in, not in. You got it? So here what happened? See, 10 is not in list. Yeah, because this is available. This become false. Yeah, false true. You're right. You got it? So three not in this. True. You get it or no? You got it right? Nice. I think that's all for now, guys. Hope you enjoy the session. We'll catch up in the next session. So we'll be getting a recording maybe next 2 3 hours. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining up.